You guys really like the idea of reversing the order of an entire Pokemon game, making the final Elite Four member your first gym leader, and vice versa. So today, we're continuing that trend in everyone's favorite home region, Hoenn. What kind of chaos and absolute mayhem can we unleash if every single boss fight in Hoenn was reversed? Who would be the champion of this twisted lineup? Well, sit back, get cozy, drop a like, and subscribe, because we're about to find out. Starting with the first gym leader in this version of Hoenn, and that's Drake, the Dragon-type specialist, which is always a pleasure to go up against, but even more fun to create as the first gym leader. For his team, I was thinking of starting things off a little nice and easy with a Swablu and his ace Bagon. Now, before you guys start complaining in the comments, don't worry, they don't know the move Dragon Rage. But I can quickly fix that if you guys really want a challenge. Either way, Drake is going to give you a run for your money. Next up in this wacky reversed order is Glacia, the Ice-type specialist. Now I know what you're thinking, Torchic stocks just went straight through the roof, but one of her Pokemon is also part Water-type, so you might want to rethink that strategy. She's got a Spheal and a Snorunt on her team, who on paper don't sound that terrifying. But the only way you're breezing through this gym is if you're lucky enough to catch a fighting-type Pokemon, which is kinda ironic, with Glacia replacing the regular second gym leader, Broly. There aren't any Machops or Meditites in sight for quite some time, so definitely good luck with this one. Now, I definitely love the Elite Four members as early gym leaders, but this next one is 100% my absolute favorite, and it's gotta be Phoebe, the Ghost-type specialist. The reason she's one of my favorite reverse gym leaders is because she's an early Ghost-type specialist, and her team can easily compete with the all-time most difficult gym leader's current title holder, Whitney, because she's got it all, and a Duskull, Shuppet, and her troublemaking ace Sableye. And best believe she's going to cause you tremendous amounts of trouble. I guess early route Poochyena are really going to come in handy for this one. Next up is the final Elite Four member turned gym leader, and that's Sydney. Now, the OG fourth gym leader Flannery had two Slugmas and a Torkoal in Ruby Sapphire games, which in all honesty is pretty boring. But we can't be that boring, now can we? No. So instead, we're giving Mr. 305, Sydney, a Nuzleaf, Mightyena, and an Ace Absol. This way, each of his Pokemon is sporting the unique Dark type while also adding a bit of diversity to the team's overall package. But with a team as stacked as his, at only the fourth gym, I'd say he might be one of the most difficult fourth gym leaders to get across. Man, I'm really enjoying this Hoenn region in reverse. What do you guys think? Now it's time for the original final gym leader to become this version's fifth gym leader and also possibly your father? But we kind of have an issue. Depending on if you're playing Emerald or the originals, the final gym leader is either Wallace or Hoenn. But just to make things a bit less chaotic, let's just go with Hoenn as the fifth gym leader instead. He specializes in the water type, and you'd probably make him a very proud father if you started with Mudkip. But if you didn't, oh boy, well, does he have a bone to pick with you? Because his team, he's got a Love Disc, a Whiscash, and his ace Milotic, which knows moves like Ice Beam and Surf, meaning his Milotic can easily counter any of your starter Pokemon. Definitely an improvement on Norman's lazy Titans, that's for sure. This honestly could really work considering it is the same location you acquire the HM Surf now, isn't it? But moving on, next up is our sixth gym leader, and it's the twin duos Tate and Liza. And this team is just a slightly modified version of their Emerald team. Their aces are still both Solrock and Lunatone, we really can't touch that. However, their lead Pokemon are now a Claydol, and instead of a Xatu, we're giving them a Chimecho. They all still have an immunity to ground types with Levitate, but Chimecho is literally the most perfect supportive psychic Pokemon to show off in a double battling gym. That and the fact that it's a psychic type that gets absolutely no love, so we'll fix that and give it moves like Safeguard, Heal Bell, Yawn, and maybe even something like Skill Swap. But if you manage to defeat the twins, well then, that means you get your sixth badge, and now it's time to take on the terrifying Winona. Winona's gym leader position only goes up by 1, moving her from 6th to 7th in this version, but that's all the change we really need in order to take her already dominant aerial beasts and and turn them into absolute sky missiles. As for her team, she keeps her Swallow but swaps her Pelipper for a Tropius, helping her get rid of that pesky ×4 weakness to electric types. Then she keeps her Skarmory and Altaria, who are now all around level 40 and have access to moves like Steel Wing, Aerial Ace, and Dragon Dance, which actually I'm pretty sure Altaria already had access to Dragon Dance, which kind of makes Winona a cheater now, doesn't it? Well, either way, she's definitely cooking up quite a challenge, so good luck with this one. But now if you manage to beat her, then you get to go up against the final gym leader of this reversed region, and that's Norman, your old dad, or maybe he's still your daddy in this game. Honestly, I don't know, but what I do know is it's kind of cool that the 5th and 8th spots swapped naturally in this reversed version, don't you think? Anyway, let me know what you guys think works best, keeping him as the protagonist's father or making him just a regular final gym leader boss. Either way, his team definitely received quite an improvement. He's got a Delcatty, a Zangoose, Castform, Slacking, and his new ace now, Exploud, which I think adds a bit more diversity to his team. You see, a strategy that Norman often uses to crush his opponents is setting up Weather with his Castform and then swapping into Exploud and using any of the elemental beams to get an extra type boost damage on. That and the fact that his other Pokemon are fast and can hit quite hard. But his Slacking is pretty much still useless, so that's why a new ace was definitely in order. But let's just say you beat good old Pops here. Well, that means it's time to take on the brand new Elite Four, but before we do that, I just wanted to quickly remind you guys to tap that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We're so close to 30k and I just know we can hit it with your guys' help, so thank you so much. Alright, now back to the Elite Four, starting with the Fiery Flannery, who we're definitely going to need to team build from other regions for this fire type specialist, since Hoenn doesn't really have a bunch to offer. First, we'll turn her old ace into her new lead Torkoal, giving her rest of her team some much needed sunlight with its ability Drought. And then we could throw in a Camerupt, a Houndoom, a Magcargo, and her new ace, Blaziken. Now, calm down before you rip me a new one. There isn't a rule saying Elite Four members, or even gym leaders for that matter, can't use starter Pokemon. I mean, look at Flint and Gardenia from Sinnoh, case in point. So cut me some slack here. Plus, I really feel like the spicy chicken fits on our team quite nicely. But what do you guys think? Now, the next Elite Four member is probably one of my all-time favorite characters of Hoenn, and that's Old Man Watson. He's just so full of energy, and so is his team. But now there's something very unique about this Watson battle. He's the only Elite Four member to partake in double battles, so be careful here. He leads with his Plusle and Minun, who by themselves might not feel like a huge threat, but together on the battlefield, oh boy, can they produce quite an impact. And next he's got an Electabuzz and Magneton, and of course his ace is none other than his trusty Manectric. Yeah, I know it's only 5 Pokemon, but that's kind of what Game Freak has always done for their Elite Four members, so who am I to change such a thing? Okay, now looks like you beat the sparky old man, so now it's time to go up against the dominating brawler himself, Brawly. And man, is he what Bruno wishes he was. In fact, it's said that Brawly once trained with Bruno, and I think that little tidbit makes his team a bit more fun to create, honestly. He's got a Hitmontop as his lead, and a Breloom, Medicham, Poliwrath, and his ace, Makuhita. I decided to give him a Poliwrath, well, because he's been known to enjoy surfing, and having a water fighting type on his team made way too much sense not to do. His team is pretty well rounded, and his Pokemon are known to be thick and quick, so be careful going up against this bad boy. But now let's say you manage to beat the Brawlinator, then you get to go up against the final Elite Four member, Roxanne, the Rock type specialist. And let's just get this out of the way. Rock types as the first gym leader? Super easy to beat. However, Rock types as the final Elite Four member? I'm gonna have to say not so easy. I mean, let's take a look at her team. We've got a Nosepass, a Relicanth, Armaldo, Cradily, and her ace Aggron. Other than her lead, they all have dual typings, making them not so much of a pushover, so you'll need to bring your best A-game strategy for this one, if you hope to beat her. But let's say you did. Well, now it's time to go up against the champion of this reversed Hoenn region, and that's none other than Wally. We could have gone with so many other choices, like for instance, any of the factory heads or even Scott himself, but I really feel like Wally never got the glow up he truly deserved in the main series. And for that, we're throwing him right at the peak of the action with his team Altaria, Delcatty, Roselia, Magneton, his ace Gardevoir, but also the mythical Pokemon Jirachi, adding a bit of uniqueness and story to how he finally became champion of Hoenn, with a wish that was finally granted. But that's it for Hoenn. Can't wait to take you guys on a trip down memory lane for Sinnoh, but in reverse. And again, if you guys enjoyed this, please hit that like button and subscribe, and while you're at it, check out my other videos on the channel. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching. Check out this video next, and see you soon. Bye.